So as men, if we're able to express those emotions when they start, instead of saying I'm angry or pissed off, say, babe, it hurts me every time you challenge my integrity, or you don't trust me with financial decisions when I've never made a mistake so far.
Yeah.
When you express it that way, or I'm just trying to be a better father than my dad was, would you mind showing me some patience? Now your wife can, instead of being here, if we're yelling, you can drop your guard and open your heart, and we can connect at that level. But typically we go from 0 to 100 and we
Real
express
quick.
anger because it feels safe.
Yeah.
For us to say, babe, I'm hurting, or I'm sad, I'm depressed. It also, I believe, prohibits men from marrying the women that they truly desire, because we've been conditioned to wear a facade or wear a mask and never show our women Bruce Wayne. They can only see Batman.
Yeah.
When you get married, you're going to see my flaws.
But okay, you got to rewind this, Jason, because you said some men are not marrying who they really want to be with because of their emotions. So you got to dive into that.
All right. Well, me working with a lot of men that want to get married, desire it, it's their fear of being exposed for not being this stoic 24/7.
Yeah.
And so I tell men, look, it's time to live authentic. If she doesn't appreciate you being a comprehensive man, basically where I'm strong and sensitive, courageous, but also compassionate, she can't take all of you as a human being. You've been blessed because you know this is the wrong woman. However, when you find the right one, I tell men to stop allowing things that you don't have to stop you from getting who you can.
Oh, you said something about you and your wife. You said something about you guys got it together.
We got it together.
You got it together.
So a lot of my brothers, it's admirable to say, hey, I want to make sure I have a home. I want to make sure I have investments and 2 cars and money for vacations. I get that. But me and my wife, I didn't have that. She actually made more money than I, Brandi, at the time.
Yeah.
But I still was the head of the home. Christ was my head. I was the head over her. And the money went into the same bank account, so it never fazed me. I was rich and I provided much more than what cash could do. And that's why when I was, in the world, the easiest girls to take were the drug dealer girls, because they thought it was just the money that the girls needed. And the girls really wanted more than that. They wanted the emotional connection.
Yeah.
To feel the love instead of you just seeing it with what you buy them.
Yeah.
And so as men, we feel that we have to constantly perform. But when you get married to the right woman, you understand that you are a human being. When I'm weak, my wife, Nicole, comforts me, massages my scalp. I can tell her I'm scared. I'm allowed to feel fear, but I don't succumb to it.
Yeah.
And so I teach men to, live from what you desire, my brother, instead of what you're fearing. And the way we're raised, no pain, no gain. Big boys don't cry. What doesn't kill you can only make you stronger. All of these misleading mantras have enslaved men into what I call emotional incarceration. It appears to be a safe space, but this place is actually the breeding ground for toxic thoughts, which eventually become detrimental actions. But when a man allows himself to process what he feels and be honest with himself, he's able to move past his trauma into a world or to a life that he's been longing for.
Yeah. A life he's been longing for. 25 years. How long have you been married?
26 now.
26 years of marriage. Because your wife just had a birthday.
Yes. Yesterday.
Yeah, she just had her birthday.
Yeah.
So 26 years of marriage, and you've gone on your own emotional journey.
Yes.
Your wife has gone on this journey with you.
Yes.
What has she taught you about yourself on this journey?
That's a good question. My wife is very wise, so she doesn't tell me anything. She I guess teaches me through her actions, and what I mean by that is a person like myself who's endured significant trauma. I often look at the bad side of things instead of the good. My wife, in those instances, are overly optimistic just to show it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Just because your best friend dropped dead of a heart attack doesn't mean your new friend will as well.
Yeah.
I would never travel if not for Nicole. And so
So the Abu Dhabi trip in the book.
Yeah, so
the Dubai trip
that's
in the book.
That's a whole nother story. But Nicole, she's teaching me through her actions that it's okay to live. It's okay to live without expecting something to go wrong. I was conditioned.
Yeah.
You know, my grandfather was lynched in 1935.
Wow.
And I saw the effects of that on my mother and her siblings' brains. They couldn't take it. My mother had a nervous breakdown in front of me. Then 2 brothers died by homicide. Best friend drops dead of a heart attack on my job.
While mopping the floor, right?
Yes,
He was mopping the floor.
Perfect shape.
Yeah.
Perfect shape. But we didn't know he had a heart condition, and his stress compounded compounded his situation, and he had a massive heart attack and dropped dead on the floor. And I could go on. And so as men, when we wear trauma like a badge of honor, especially in the Black community, from our music that glorifies violence. We glorify growing up in neighborhoods where you can get murdered instead of being in a stable community, a stable home. You start wearing that like, this is my identity, this is what's going to happen. And to be honest with you, Brandi, I'm just remembering when I turned 30 years old, I took a ride around the city of Detroit to meditate because I didn't think I would live that long.
Wow.
And so that's the mindset that many of us, especially as African-American men, have to, endure and try to overcome. But as long as we consider like suffering in silence, this code of honor, we'll never find freedom.
We will never find freedom.
Yeah.
There's a mindset, as you just said, there's a mindset to freedom. Mm-hmm. And the work that you've been doing with these boys for over 20 years, has really sent you in spaces that I'm sure you didn't even think were going to be on your radar. No. But before you even start teaching how to kick and punch and jab and move and bob and weave in martial arts, you're teaching some fundamental mindset principles.
Yeah, I started, it was all discipline when I first started the Cave of Adullam. But I discovered quickly when the boot camps were failing and the Scared Straight programs were failing that our boys didn't need more discipline, they needed more love. They didn't need to be scared straight, they needed to be healed. And so I decided to shift, instead of 100% discipline and martial arts training, I split it in half. 50% meditation and open discussion before the training. And then after the discussion, we were able to train from the principles that were taught prior. And it worked. My first group was a group of 8th graders that were given to me who were almost, all of them were in danger of not graduating.
Yeah.
Within a 16-week program cycle, they all finished strong.
Yeah.
And I only taught them, Brandi, maybe 2 to 3 martial art techniques. The rest was me loving them and being intentional in their lives and speaking life into to them. And no matter where you're growing up, always feel what you feel inside. Live from the good in your heart. Oof. We would do blindfold training so that they would, because if you have a vision that the Most High is giving you and you're constantly looking at what you don't have, the community, whatever it is, it makes it that much more difficult to take the steps needed to walk in faith to accomplish it.
Yeah.
So one of the trainings we do, we take their eyes away and we implement judo techniques where we throw them and they have to fall blindfolded and trust that they know what they have been taught. So we gradually get rid of their fear of failure. That's the first thing we do in the Cave of Adullam. And because of it, we have students who will come with maybe a 0.8 GPA, will end up graduating the program with a 2.8.
Yeah.
No tutoring.
Yeah.
Love, intentional discipleship, and faithfulness, and letting them know, look, I'm here for you regardless.
Hey, Vault family, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this clip, make sure to check out our full interview on our channel at Vault Empowers Talks. We don't just scratch the surface. We dive deep into the lives of some of the world's most influential leaders and change makers. Don't forget to like, to comment, and be sure to subscribe for more inspiring conversations. See you next time.